Hey my glam girls, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea, where we talk about all things glam and all things girly. I am a beauty enthusiast that loves to talk about everything surrounding beauty and makeup, but I love to switch it up and throw in a little bit of fashion and some vlogging. So if that type of content does sound of interest to you, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And today, Mother Pat has finished releasing all of the products in her Celestial Odyssey collection. And I have here both of the quads and the new highlighter. I am wearing one of the blushes that is currently in one of her blush palettes, and a few little comparisons, you know, all the things in a good old video. So stay tuned for all of that. Of course, I'll be sharing with you how I created both of these eye looks, and I cannot wait to get into this video. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today, and let's get right into this video. So like I said, I will be talking about both of the quads. So we have here from the Celestial Odyssey collection, this is the quad Deep Space Divinity. And we're just gonna take a nice up close look at this one. And this one is Bronze Borealis. And then lastly, of what I picked up from the remaining portion of the collection is this highlighter in Lunar Nude. And you guys, this embellishment, I mean, it looks like royalty. Slam royalty. And I am here for it. So I don't even know where to get started. Okay, each one of these quads is going to retail for $54. Like I said, this is Deep Space Divinity, and Mother does give us 4 different textures within this particular quad. So she says that we have 4 finishes, which include a velvet matte, a foil metallic, a sateen shimmer, and a 24 karat duochrome sparkle. So first shade in this particular quad is Golden Aurora. This is going to be the sateen shimmer. Next we have Alien Moon. This is her velvety matte shade. Love this rich burgundy shade that we have here. And a correction, this shade is Rose Nocturne, not Alien Moon. My mistake. This next shade is Dawn Fantasia. And then lastly, we have Alien Moon, which is this gorgeous duochrome shade. I believe that this is the 24 karat duochrome sparkle shade, simply because this is the obvious duochrome shade in the quad. So here are all of the shades swatched in this first quad, and I think these are all very beautiful, very complementary shades to each other. Next we have Bronze Borealis, and in this particular quad we have 3 finishes. So she says that we have a velvet matte, a sateen shimmer, and then 2 foiled metallics. So let's get into these swatches. First we have Lunar Legend. Gorgeous, gorgeous shade. Next is Sienna Rose, the velvety matte shade Mink Dust. Love shades like this. These are some of my favorite types of transition shades when I don't want the most neutral look, but I still want a nice kind of neutral hue to the eye. Love shades like this. Then lastly, Cyber Bronze. So there are all 4 of these shades in this second quad. I am loving all of these shades together. Both of these quads I think are extremely beautiful, and I think they're stunning. So when looking at both of these quads, and I don't know if you felt the same way, some of these shades in both of these quads look quite similar. So this shade and this shade looks similar in these 2 quads, and then this shade and this shade looks similar. And when looking at my arm, let me see if I can point them out. So here's the first shade in Dark Divinity, and then that second shade. The first shades in basically both the quads look very similar, and then this shade and this shade, there definitely is more of a distinctive difference between the 2, but I do think that they both look a little similar. So those shades do look similar, and they're different, you know, obviously when looking at them you can see the undertone differences between the 2, but they do look similar. So I'll share my thoughts at the end of the video on that. Sharing some other swatch comparisons. When looking at Deep Space Divinity, I would like to compare it to this one. This is her Celestial Divinity Luxe Quad in the shade Interstellar Icon. Now, looking at them side by side, I do not think that they look identical, and they don't look as similar as I initially thought when I first saw this one. I first saw this one and I immediately thought of this quad, but looking at them side by side, there is no like outright obvious similarity between the two. Let's swatch this shade right here, and we're gonna compare it to this first shade in Deep Space Divinity. So we'll put that right here. And you can definitely see a very distinctive difference between the two. This one is, first of all, a lot more high shine. It has more of that kind of foiled formula, versus this one has more of that satin type of formula. This one is more of a duochrome, and it has much more of a metallic sheen than this one does. And then we can swatch this one and compare it to the duochrome Alien Moon, just so that we can see. So let's put that right here. And I definitely see a difference between the two. And then just going to, just for good measure, swatch this matte shade in Interstellar Icon. And this shade from Interstellar Icon is definitely deeper, more plum-like, whereas this shade here is pulling more burgundy. So yes, I don't think we have any similarities there between those two quads. Another quad that I picked up, and when I saw it, I was like, ooh, these look similar. We're looking at the Venus and Floors Luxe Quad in Voyeuristic Vixen, and it definitely made me think of Bronze Borealis. So I feel like we do have a little more similarity between these two. So first, let's start off with the matte shade. So here's that swatch here, and this is the matte shade. So you can definitely see that this shade is more saturated in its warmth than this shade is. And this shade is pulling a lot more light in the pink burgundy family than this shade is. And next, comparing this shade in the Voyeuristic Vixen palette to this shade right here. And these two shades are very different from each other. So no difference there. And also looking at this shade and this shimmer here, there's no difference between these two shades either. And that is it. So looking at these two, I feel the same as with the other two quads. If you have this one from the previous launch, I don't think you're going to be necessarily duping yourself if you were interested in getting this one, Bronze Borealis, from this current launch. I do think there is definitely differences in the shades and also differences in the formulas between the two quads. So I am very happy about that, because some of you all had even DM'd me and was like, what do you think? Do they look similar? And I was just like, I don't know yet, but I am happy to see that they are not that similar between the two. And I looked through all of the other quads that I have, and they were so different, they weren't even worth the comparison. So that's why I didn't compare them to any other of the quads that I have. I didn't bring out the Mothership palettes because that's a whole nother video's worth of swatches, if there are even any comparisons, but I just kind of stated and went with the obvious. So let's get into this highlighter, because I haven't even put the highlighter on my face. I just felt like we needed to experience this moment together. So this does retail for $60, and it's stated to have a gel powder formula. It is lightweight. It has an opalescent sheen, and it is multi-dimensional and buildable. I want to take my Sonia G mini cheek brush, and I am going to just, this embellishment is so pretty. I don't even want to mess it up. And I love that you don't really mess it up too much. I've been brushing my brush all around in it, and it doesn't seem to be messing up the embellishment too much. So let's apply. Oh, look at that. Oh, yes. This is, Now this is really interesting because this is pulling a little cooler than I thought it would. Looking at it in the pan, what are your thoughts? It's pulling a little cooler. It's pulling a little more pink for sure, like a cooler toned pink. Interesting. Just gonna add a little here. Let's get into some swatches. From just initial first impressions, honey child, I am beaming to the glow gods. I mean, let's, blend this into the skin so we can, make it suitable for TV, okay? Now let's swatch this, and I want to compare it to the previous highlighter that she came out with in Golden Nectar, because looking at these two side by side, I feel like they look a little similar. What are you all's thoughts? So let's do a little swatch. So this is her new highlighter from the Celestial Divinity collection. This is in Lunar Nude. And here is Golden Nectar. So what are we thinking? And these look a little similar. The undertone, the tones of them are different. I feel like this one, like I said, I still think this one's pulling a little more cooler in its tone. Golden Nectar, I feel like has more of a golden kind of peachy hue versus Lunar Nude. I think it has more of that pinkish kind of cooler tone to it. But I think they both are so beautiful. And I can definitely see from the swatch the multi-dimensional effect that is in this newer highlighter that we don't see in Golden Nectar. So I actually think this one is really, I just can't, every time I turn my head to the side and I look in my mirror, I'm like, oh, look at it. So, oh, it's so pretty. Okay, that highlighter has got me all excited. All right, okay. So now, 5 years later, can we get into these eyeshadow looks because they're really cute? Oh wait, maybe we should address some of the packaging. So, because you guys know I just never do that. I just get too excited about the product, but some of you all care about the packaging. So here is the cartridge for the Dark Space Divinity Quad. It looks identical to her Celestial Odyssey palette, and I think this is like one of my favorite packaging from Mother Pet. It is stunning. Keeping this one. Here is the packaging for Bronze Borealis. This one is so pretty as well. And then here is the packaging for the highlighter in Lunar Nude. For the actual packaging of the quads, this is what it looks like. And there's a little bit of a protective sleeve on the outside. We're just gonna take that off. And so this is what the outside of the quad looks like. And this is what the back of the quad looks like. This is a sticker right here. But I am glad that it's kind of the same color as the actual quad, so it doesn't look as obvious like it's a sticker. For the highlighter, we have this protective sleeve as well, and this gorgeous gold packaging, just like decadent, and I am here for it. This is what I like to see. Oh, and then this is what the back of the highlighter looks like. Like I said, this is a sticker. I wish this all would have been gold, because I just be liking that. I like all of that. Okay, now getting into these eye looks. All right, so I started out with Alien Moon. I think that's what I started out with. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna start out with this one and kind of put it, initially I was just gonna put it like toward the outer edge, but when that duochrome shift started popping through, I said, this is the perfect one and done look. Do y'all see the shifts? Like, it automatically throws in a transition shade, and I promise you, I did not take any of this creamy velvety matte shade and put it anywhere into my transition or my crease. That is simply the duochrome from the shade. So I just had to put it all over the eye. I had to. So I put it all over the eye. Then for the lower lash line, I did go in with this matte shade, and I concentrated that about halfway down the lower lash line, then went back in with Alien Moon because I just had to. Like, this shade is probably one of my favorite shade between both of the quads. Put it right here. Then I went in with this shade here, popped a little bit in the inner corner just so that we could see it and see how it looks. This is a beautiful metallic shade, but it's very smooth, so nothing that's like crumbly or extremely textured. And then for the inner corner, I went in with this shimmer shade right here. Very beautiful and complementary to this overall eye look. And that's it. I mean, such a simple eye look, but it looks like I did so much and I did so little. I mean, those are the best eye looks. I do very little, but the effect is so much more dramatic. So for Bronze Borealis, I started out with the Velvety Matte shade, blended that all over into the crease and into the transition area. And I think this one is a beautiful one and done look if you just kind of wanted to throw something into the crease to complement that kind of dusty rose type of look. If you were going, you know, for kind of like a monochromatic look, I think this would be beautiful to just toss into the transitioning crease and be out the door. But should you want to take it up a notch, I went in with this shade right here, concentrated that on the outer portion of the eye. This one was really pretty. I decided to use my finger because it is a metallic shade, and although I felt like I was getting pretty good pigmentation from that shade, I definitely noticed more pigmentation with my finger. I did the same with this shade as well. Took my finger and initially put it all over the eye, the inner portion of the eye, and then I went in with a brush to get, you know, more of the details. For the lower lash line, just went right back in with that matte shade, blended that out, and then for the inner corner, went in with this shimmer shade right here, and eye look is done. Very happy with how both of my eye looks turned out. I think they both are beautiful. And for me, I really do like both of these quads. Oh, here's the second one. I was like looking for it. I'm like, where's the second one? I really do like both of these quads. I think they're quite beautiful, and I can definitely see myself getting some good use out of it. Now, I will admit, and maybe I'm just a little picky, but I would have liked if those, you know, couple of shades that I swatched in both the quads, if they weren't, you know, as similar as they are. I mean, they're different, but do y'all see what I'm talking about? I feel like if I use one quad and did a look in terms of those like lighter shades, I could use them also in this quad and kind of get the same look in terms of like those, you know, similar shades. But like I said, I can see why she put those shades in here because I do feel like they are quite complementary to the other colors. So I wish would have maybe changed it up a little bit more so that we're getting like 8 completely different shades and they look completely different, but that's just me being picky. I think that these quads are really, really nice. I would definitely recommend them, and I'm very happy to have them. I think they're going to be a really good addition to my collection, and these are quads that I most definitely will travel with because I love these tones in these quads. And like I said, Alien Moon, I mean, I can't get over this. Like, I keep looking at my eye and I'm like, I did not throw anything in the transition. However, it just, right there, it's perfect. Oh, I also took some of this matte shade and kind of did a little bit of like a little bit of a liner here on this eye because I felt like it just would have added a nice little touch to it. But yeah, that's it for the eye look. So I'm very pleased and happy with these quads. I think if you're interested in them, definitely pick them up. I think that they are beautiful. For my blush, like I said, I didn't want to purchase the blush palettes because I wasn't too sure if I needed them just for the highlighters alone, because I do have all of her blushes. I have reviewed them all. I highly suggest the blushes. So if you don't have any of her blushes, get the palettes because I know that they're amazing. Today I decided to throw on a little bit of Paradise Venus because that is one of the blushes that she put in the deeper blush palette, and it's just gorgeous. It fits this look so complimentary. So I don't know, maybe I'll pick up the blush palettes later. I do want to go in store and swatch the highlighters to see if like, is it something that I already have? Do I really need these? But I would say if you're eyeing the blush palettes and you're just not sure, I highly recommend them because their blushes are by far some of my favorite blush formulas, and I know you're gonna like it because they're just so good. So those are my thoughts on this whole entire collection. Please leave your comments down below. What do you think of the eye looks? What do you think of the quads and her new highlighter? It's so cute. Are you gonna pick anything up? Are there any other palettes, quads that you want me to compare these quads to? Because I would love to get that content up for you all, especially if you're trying to make a decision as to if you need them or if you're, you know, looking for them for gifts or things like that. Leave that all down in the comment section below. And if you've made it to this point in the video and you have yet to subscribe to my channel, I would love for you to consider subscribing and joining the Glam Girl Squad. And guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.